What's up, guys? Leland here with Bottom Table Tyrants, and I wanted to let you guys know we got Tim in the studio to continue on with our Vampire Clan series, and today we're going over the Ventrue. So, I guess starting off, we always kind of go through what you think of the clan as like, how do you visualize the Ventrue?
It's really easy to think about Ventrue as that picture that you get on the tin, right? You've got the guy in the really fancy suit with the goblet of wine sitting in the penthouse looking out over the entire city. And that's all well and good. That's what Ventrue are. They're the leaders. They're the ones in control of everything. But I like to kind of think of, okay, maybe there's other options there. So my thought is, when did your character get turned? When did you become a vampire? Was it way back in the day when you were that sort of king who wanted to sit atop the golden throne? Or were you maybe a person in the French Revolution and you love this idea of sitting back and letting your money rule for you, letting your money have the power over the poor? And you're probably not a very good leader, and people probably don't listen to you very well, but you've got the funds to back it up. Or did you get turned in the mid 80s where were fueled by a little bit of white powder sprinkled in your coffee, and you're a go-getter every morning? You're waking up and nose to the grindstone. It's the quote from Futurama: there's two kinds of people, sheep and sharks don't look back because they don't have necks. You're that go-getter. You're up every day making things happen, making power moves, making money moves, and that's your style of leadership.
Yes, that's a whole new concept for Nose to the Grindstone from the '80s there for me. So I was just like, oh yeah, I'm sure somebody used that one at some point. Um, yes, I guess what I like to focus on with Ventrue is I guess, their expertise in organization. These guys were Kane's right hand man in the lore. So Ventrue was Kane's chosen son, or at least that's the way they see it. Of course, I'm sure a lot of the other clans would not see it quite so friendly and loving in that way. But they were always the scribe. They were always the organization, the assistant to the first vampire. So therefore, they kind of realized the power in organization. They realized the power in being the one who knows what's happening. So because of that, they can be played as like power brokers or information brokers. It's not all just about like wealth and stature and things like that. They see themselves, of course, as the good kings, and stuff like that. So it's all for the benefit of everyone that I'm in charge. Obviously, is a great way to put it. Is they're not doing it maliciously, but whoever really sees themselves in the bad guy as the bad guy, anyways, in most stories. So of course they see themselves as the smart king who, of course, is taking great care of all of his subjects. So organization is probably the default, like almost like that's what their power is the ability to organize, create hierarchies, create these fiefs, these different castes of people, different layers of workers, things like that. Organize everything from a kingdom to a corporation.
You ever work in a place where the general manager is just completely useless and the assistant managers hold the whole place together? Everything runs because they know what they're doing. They're organized, they're structured, they have the right people in the right place. And then they go on vacation for like a week and the whole place falls apart because the actual leader doesn't have any clue what's going on. Those assistant managers are your Ventrue.
Yep, yep, exactly. They are the worker horse. In the end, they put the time in for making sure all of that flows and functions. They're the one central cog that all of that runs around. So definitely a great way to put it.
If your favorite game is Vampire and your second favorite game is Microsoft Excel, play a Ventrue.
Yes, all about the spreadsheets, then Ventrue. Okay, next is going to be Ventrue NPCs that you could throw in there. Probably, I guess I don't want to do this, but it's like, to me, they almost always are the princes. They're the guys who are going to run the city, especially if it's a Camarilla city. They're going to be the ones in charge most of the time, or like we talked about, they're going to be those sheriffs that are the second guy in command who are dealing out the justice, and eventually will probably become the prince themselves if there's ever any turnover in Vampire World.
You can also play with that entire concept, right? If someone like a Bruja steps up and beats everybody down and takes over power of the city, the Ventrue aren't going to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe instead of going to the player group and saying, you're in my city now, here's the tasks that you have to do, it is a please, please, please help me get my city back. Because and I've already got everything planned out for you. One of the things that I've learned trying to run heists in any system with any group is it's really hard to give them a place to heist and let them come up with their own heist. But it can be a lot of fun if you already have a plan for them to go in and screw up. And Ventrue are great at giving the group a plan and then saying, do this, it'll work perfectly. It's not going to work perfectly, but that's the fun.
Yes, definitely. And I guess even in the last adventures that you guys played with me running it, I put a train on a bridge, handed you explosives, and I was like, surely they'll blow the bridge up, and but and I've run this campaign, or I've run this story. It's a one shot. I've run it 3 times. No one has ever used the C4 that I just handed them to blow up the bridge, but I'm also not suggesting it. So maybe next time I'll have a very eager Ventrue show up to be like, hey guys, maybe you should use the C4 on the bridge to stop the train from getting into the city so that they can burn up your sire. So I've always just been like, I gave them all the pieces and surely they'll do this, but nope, 3 times in a row, three attempts at it. They never use it for that. They always end up blowing up an elevator or something in the building later on, which I guess, hey, at least they got closer, so there's a lot more suspense going on in the adventure. But yeah, so just because you give them all the pieces doesn't mean that they're gonna lead them to water and blow up the bridge like you wanted them to, because PCs always do pretty much the opposite of what you ever think they're gonna do.
We all thought, surely it can't be that easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Next time, just hand us the detonator and already have the C4 on the
Yeah,
bridge.
they're like, listen, guys, we already planted it. All you got to do is push the button. Ventrue are going to become the leader in whatever it is. If they were the prince of the city at one point and now they've been knocked down out of their place, well, guess what? They're going to take over the next the street gang that they're able to take care of. They're going to take care of shoot the McDonald's that the franchise that they took over. They're going to be the best manager, and in the back room they're going to be planning on how to retake the city. So yes, so they're going to lead whatever it is just because they're just natural born leaders, and they can't help but try and organize people and get them in running in the position that they want them to. So as NPCs, you could have them be the down and out gang leader. Maybe they're some sort of strike team leader. If you have any sort of like paramilitary vampire force that goes out and hunts werewolves, goes out and hunts anarchs, something like that, they most likely will have some sort of militant Ventrue leader who's going to be the Leonardo of the squad. He's definitely Leonardo's got some Ventrue vibes, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely. And my mind always wants to go back to that picture that's on the tin of the guy that's in the penthouse with the goblet. No one's going to trust that guy inherently. Mm-hmm. He had to work really hard to get to that place. Yeah, yeah. But how many times have you gone to a group or started a new job and your leader was really charismatic? Maybe she was super nice and super caring and you wanted to do what she said because she was super charismatic and super nice. You can absolutely be a good guy leader. You don't have to be that brooding, dark, angry, I took this city, it's mine. You can be the one that brings everyone in with joy and kindness.
No. And also just to go, they're like, I know I'm asking you to do this for me, but here's how it's going to help you, that type of situation that they're explaining to the coterie, to the PCs of like how this is going to benefit them in whatever quest they're going through. All right, guys, next piece is we're going to go through different adventures you could do that are kind of Ventrue themed and like different adventures that a Ventrue vampire might give your PCs, or if you had Ventrue PCs in the group, what they might be going for. So first thing I would say is, we've already kind of mentioned it before, is the prince has lost his kingdom and now he needs you to help him overthrow either the new Camarilla leader or the Anarch leader who's like kind of taken over, or Sabat maybe, even if things have gone really bad. That would be a bad situation, period, because there'd be all kinds of breaches going on in the code from there. So Um, I would do that. Probably the other alternate thing I would do is for your vampires that are playing Ventrue, they're going to be reaching out to human gangs. I'm trying to think of other, like, I guess any sort of like organized crime definitely would work for them, and they would kind of get to build their own fledgling empire. These guys are organizers, and so they're gonna be the ones that they collect troops to use in battle. They collect gang members to use for crime things. They collect these organized crime guys so that they can always have guns and weapons. I'm sorry, guns and vehicles and illicit narcotics to use to get money, things like that. So again, they're going to organize. Your players are, I guess, in Ventrue can definitely use their powers of leadership to, I guess, unite factions and things like that.
I think there's a scale that can exist in any setting, and on one end of that scale is chaos, and on the other end of that scale is order and law. And it doesn't have to be law like police law, but it has to be organization. And we keep going back to this concept of Ventrue are organized. They're leaders. They want things to function the way that they want it to function. And so you can very easily throw in there's these guys in that are coming up with their own new gang, and it's encroaching on this other gang's territory, but this other gang has been in power and is organized and is structured and has everything down to the city block in place. Well, the Ventrue is going to want that organization, is going to want that structure. And then, like you said, they upgrade to maybe mafiosos, maybe people who are actual organized crime. And then from there, they upgrade to, okay, who on the police force can I pull in and start making part of my organization? Mm-hmm. It's all about structure. It's all about control. It's all about making sure things are happening the way that they want them to. Surprises bad, organization good.
Okay, guys, last piece is how to run Ventrue PCs in an alternative way other than just being the like a-hole leader guy who just gives orders to everyone and the other PCs go like, yeah, right, buddy. So what I like to do is kind of be, I always think of vampires can never control the police. They can influence the chief. They could have maybe have him under the thumb, but they never would be able to get control over the whole police force because unfortunately they're humans. Somebody's going to talk. So you can never control a whole city. You can never control a whole police force, but you can control some people, which gives you influence over them. And so they're, I guess the way I would play Ventrue is he's the influence guy. Everybody owes him a favor, from the governor to the mayor to the police chief to the head doctor at the hospital. Like he's gotten leverage on every single person in the city, which is how he controls them. So it's like the everybody owes me a favor guy. So if you need a thing, he's the guy to go to because he always has, oh, Johnny Rocks, the gang member, owes me a favor because otherwise I'll turn him into the police who are also under my thumb, things like that.
You can always work with your GM to even come up with like a scale of how big of a favor is owed, right? Yep. The slum guy who you pulled up off the streets, gave him a job, gave him a life, got him off of drugs. Maybe he owes you his entire life and he'll do anything for you. But you're still kind of new to this. You don't have that same influence over the mayor of the city. Yep. But if you need to maybe change the license plate on the back of a cop car, the mayor's going to look the other way while you do it. Yeah. You have options there. And then, like I talked about earlier, different motivations, right? Why do you want this power? Why do you want this organization? How are you going about it? Are you the kind of person that feels like your wallet can buy your way into all of these favors? Mm-hmm. Are you the kind of person that's going out there and trying to be a charismatic leader? Are you manning that street every day so that people start to recognize you, and then they'll, instead of owe you favors, want to do things for you because you're helping to better their community? Mm-hmm. You've got lots of options.
Awesome, guys. That's it for the Ventrue. Let me know in the comments section what you liked, what you didn't like. The circles and squares are going to pop up, so make sure you put the circles for the subscribes. The squares, those are going to be the different episodes. So please keep watching our episodes and let us know what you think. Thank you, guys. We love you. Leland and Tim out.